Welcome to tonight's post-game live reaction show following game 2 in round 2. Denver Nuggets on the road taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. We all know how this game ended. There is plenty to discuss. We're going to get into that in just a moment. But first, this is presented by Trusted American Mortgage. Trusted American salary-based mortgage consultants want to help you get into a better interest rate and lower your monthly payments. So head to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you save some money today.
Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into a post-game live reaction show following an absolute steamrolling by the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I would imagine most of us are feeling a little drained, mentally, emotionally, all the things. I know I certainly am. That was not fun. I was pretty much done watching in the third quarter. Pretty much, actually, if we're being honest, the second quarter is when I really started to feel like I would like to turn this off of my television. This is no longer fun for me. The Oklahoma City Thunder winning 149-106. So, wow. Not a lot that we liked from this game. Oklahoma City coming out hot to begin this game on both sides of the floor. And really, there are no excuses for this loss. Let me just start by saying that. There are zero excuses for this loss. But really, the beginning of the game was pretty indicative of how the whole game was going to go, which was that offensively, the Nuggets could not do anything. And offensively, OKC could do everything because the Nuggets defense was just not where it needs to be at this stage of the season. By that, I mean playoffs. I got to give a shout out to Corey. I've got to give a shout out to Corey 100%. Every show he has been in here saying, start Russ, start Russ, start Russ. I felt like there was a lot of value in having Russ come off of the bench, and I do think there still is. But after what I've seen from Michael Porter Jr., and before you start, I understand he's injured. But if your injury makes you a liability, you got to go. You got to be benched. You can't be on the floor. Michael Porter Jr. has given you a whole lot of nothing in the postseason, is what it's felt like. Based on what you know you should get from Michael Porter Jr., you've gotten a whole lot of nothing from Michael Porter Jr. in the postseason. Now, I understand that he is injured, right? I'm aware. But if your injury becomes a liability, then you should not be out there. It's that simple. It is actually that simple. I think we all love Michael Porter Jr. I think we all want Michael Porter Jr. to be healthy and doing what we know he's capable of doing in the playoffs. We're just not getting that. We're not getting that from him. We haven't been getting that from him. Between the foot stuff that he's dealing with and now his shoulder, he really is exceptionally limited. But if we want to keep it transparent and if we want to keep it honest, this is the reality. Even when Michael Porter Jr. was in full health this season, you still weren't getting out of him what you expect to get out of him as a max contract player on this team. So yes, he is injured, and it would be unfair to not acknowledge that. It would be unfair to not give him a little bit of grace for that reason. But I said it last year. I said it last year when Jamal was dealing with his injuries in the postseason. So much so that he was having really bad nights offensively. And everyone said, well, he's injured. Well, he's injured. If your injury becomes a liability, you shouldn't be playing. I understand all of these players want to play. Of course, it's the playoffs, right? You want to make an impact. You want to be there for your team. There are guys in this second unit that, in my opinion, could be playing Michael Porter Jr.'s minutes and be giving you a little bit more. Whether that be effort, defensive hustle, a few threes falling, whatever the case may be, there are players that I believe could give you more than Michael Porter Jr. is giving you right now. Now, when Michael Porter Jr. is on, woohoo, I'm happy as a clam. But he's not on, and I don't think he's going to be on anytime soon given the injuries he's dealing with. Michael Porter Jr. has been that player on this team this year that everybody has felt like he's been under-delivering. He's not even matching the expectation that is set. And you would expect that when they get paid, they surpass the expectation that has been set. Michael Porter Jr. is not even meeting it. Okay. So it really is a tough situation because I get it. He's injured. You don't want to look like an a-hole saying WTF MPJ. But at the end of the day, even without his injuries this season, we have struggled with Michael Porter Jr. and his offensive production. And for that matter, his defensive hustle as well. His injuries are becoming a liability. So to Corey's point, every time he's been out here or on this show, he has said, Russ needs to start. And at first I said, no way, Jose, because there's value in bringing him in with that second unit. And I still believe that there's value with bringing him in that second unit. However, you got to start Russ. Russ right now is the only person outside of maybe AG that I feel like is giving you full effort right now. Full effort. And that's really, really tough. Especially after what we saw last game, right? Last game was exceptional. It really was. It was a huge momentum gainer for this Nuggets team who was coming off of game 7, had very little rest in their bodies. OKC, the exact opposite, had plenty of rest in their bodies. So really great way for them to get that in game 1. I want to remind everybody right now, I don't think we should overreact just yet, right? And I'm going to explain why. We saw a pretty brutal, it was not this brutal, trust and believe, I'm aware. We saw a pretty brutal game 3 last series. And what we saw after that is exactly what I gave the Nuggets the edge for in this series, which was the adjustments that they are capable of making. They have been making adjustments all season long. Whether that be their new starting lineup every week, the fact that they lost their coach just ahead of the playoffs. I mean, they have been adjusting all year. They are capable of adjusting. They're a smart enough basketball team to make the proper adjustments ahead of game 3. Let's also not forget, OKC now gets to come to Denver. There's an altitude advantage for Denver, right? And Denver's in a pretty good spot because they're kind of playing with house money. No one believed in them to begin with in this series. Everyone wanted to chalk up game 1 as a fluke, and game 2, they got absolutely embarrassed, humiliated even. So now the Nuggets just get to play ball, right? The pressure's not really on Denver in this spot. It's really not. It wasn't really on Denver tonight either because they were up in this series. They stole a road game. The pressure's not really on Denver. But the doubters will be heavy on Denver, and Denver loves that. The Nuggets love to be doubted. They love to be underestimated. That is what they thrive on. So I know you guys are probably expecting me to be super negative right now. I'm not. I'm relatively calm, actually. I jokingly tweeted and said, Scott Foster back from injury. I'm putting the house on OKC. You know what I mean? I'm not blaming the officiating for this game. Hell no, no way am I doing that because there was a lot I didn't like from Denver tonight that ultimately cost them this game. I mean, it was just bad. It was just bad. It felt like JV versus varsity a little bit, honest to God. And that's just me keeping it 100 with you guys. It was ugly from jump. And then you get Jokic fouling out in the third, right? To be honest with you, you probably could have benched your starters a whole lot sooner. This game felt over at halftime. I got to be honest. And it's interesting because you know the Nuggets are capable of a comeback at any given moment. You can never count out Denver. In this game, however, you absolutely could have. Yep, you could have. And that's coming from a diehard Denver Nuggets fan. You could have counted Denver out probably at the start of the third quarter. That's just the facts. That's just the facts. We know their third quarter play typically sets the tone for the game, which is crazy because 2 quarters have now gone by. You should have set the tone earlier, but that's kind of been their thing this year. How they come out of halftime and play usually sets the tone for the game because they're capable of a comeback. They're a very clutch basketball team. That I don't really worry about. So I'm feeling pretty neutral right now. I am choosing not to overreact, and I suggest you do the same because this series is tied. Yes, they got beat by a lot. But let me tell you why an absolute ass whooping is actually better for this Nuggets team than a close game. Your starters got a little tiny bit more rest, and this Nuggets team plays very mental, and they just got humiliated. Absolutely humiliated. And you don't think that didn't sting a little bit after what they did in game 1? Absolutely it did. When everyone was telling you that was a fluke, OKC is going to come back and steamroll you in game 2, and then they did. The haters were right. It's really good for this Nuggets team to get absolutely wrecked like that. Your starters got to rest a little more than they otherwise would have if this game was close. And then you add the embarrassment factor into it. And I think you're going to get a whole hell of a lot better basketball from the Nuggets in game 3 when they're at home in front of Ballerina, who has showed up all season and been outstanding. They're making adjustments because you know they will. They're a very smart basketball team. Jokic is likely frustrated. He fouled out. He did not have a great game. Okay, they're feeling a little rattled right now, as they should, right? Complacency never looks good on this Denver Nuggets team. Matter of fact, complacency looks really ugly on them. We have seen moments where this Nuggets team has gotten complacent, and it's ugly. Oh, it is gross. So this is good. It's good. I like the blowout, right? I really do. I would have been more upset right now in this moment if they would have lost in a really close game. I like that you got a little embarrassed tonight because I know how you're going to respond. You're going to respond just fine on your home court with a little bit of altitude in your favor. That defense, what is defense all about? Effort and communication. Effort sometimes is collateral damage to exhaustion. I'm not making an excuse for this team. They look tired tonight. Yeah, and they probably are, right? But then you add the altitude aspect in game 3, OKC might look a little more gassed. That is your opportunity to make those adjustments and take advantage of the fact that they may be on more of an even playing field with their exhaustion. Because they've had a one-up in games 1 and games 2. To be honest with you, full transparency here, how game 2 went is how I expected game 1 to go. My mom was actually very upset with me because she asked me, how do you think game 1 is going to go? And I was like, I think it's going to be ugly. I think OKC is going to handle business just fine, very comfortably. This is what I predicted for game 1. And she's like, you're so negative. I'm like, no, I'm not negative. I just think OKC has a rest advantage. They're young, they're hungry, whatever. As the series progresses, I think the Nuggets' ability to adjust and their playoff experience will help them. I'm not saying all hope is lost in this series, but I expected game 1 to look like game 2. That's what I expected. I expected game 1 to look like game 2. So we got that game. I knew we were going to get one of these games in this series, you guys. I knew OKC was going to comfortably handle business in at least one of these games. We got it out of the way. Game 2. Booyah. Got it. And best part is we stole one on the road. Cool. Series is tied. All right. Let's shake it off. Forget about it. Moving on. OKC shooting 56% from the field. Defense has got to tighten up. 3-point percentage, 44%. Believe it or not, OKC only made one more 3 than Denver. I have a hard time believing that based on what I saw, to be honest. But it's right in front of me, right here. They got out-rebounded in total, but offensive rebounds, they did a much better job. Their turnovers, so help me God. A lot of these, I think, came late in the game with the second unit. Not a lot, but a few. 20 turnovers. Here's what I got to say. You don't tighten up your turnovers and prioritize your defense a little more, you're not winning this series. You're just not. Now, I've seen a lot of people talking about the officiating. OKC only got to the line 4 more times than Denver. So I'm not going to sit here and hound on that. I'm really not. I mean, the Nuggets' best player getting, fouling out in the third quarter. If I remember correctly, there was a missed foul on Chet in the regular season that would have fouled him out, and the Nuggets the refs just kind of turned a blind eye to it. So is it a little frustrating that Nikola Jokic fouls out when I know for a fact the refs have overlooked potential fouls that could have fouled out some of OKC's best players? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it is what it is. There's a lot that Denver didn't do right. You're not winning a game in the playoffs with 20 turnovers. Figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that. You just can't do that. Points in the paint, we got absolutely smacked up and down, sideways, backwards, and flipped around, okay? Points in the paint, OKC 52, Denver 28. Second chance points, 20 second chance points for OKC. The turnovers are costly. They are. They absolutely are. Oh my God, we have a potty mouth in the chat. Lord have mercy. Goodness sakes. Gosh. I'm so convinced some of you have never spoken to women in real life. I'm not kidding. That was a big potty mouth. At one point, this OKC team was up by 49. You don't think the best player in the world's not embarrassed by this behavior? Of course he is. Jamal Murray, embarrassed. They all are. They're competitors. Okay. Potty mouth is back. Okay. Lord have mercy. I mean, my God, you guys. I can always tell a man in the comment section that has never spoken to women in real life outside of their mom, their grandma, and maybe a cousin or a sister. I can always tell. I can always tell the ones that do not speak to women in person on a regular basis because, my God. Hello. Yeah, he had to get blocked because his potty mouth was out of control. Lord, I'm distracted. I mean, what the HE double hockey sticks is going on? You guys, really, I'm not overreact. I'm choosing not to overreact yet. I'm choosing not to. And I really want you to do the same. Don't overreact. Don't overreact. I understand the frustration. Yes, Jamal's not consistent. I get it. MPJ, a little bit MIA at the moment. I get it. It's frustrating, right? I completely understand, and I'm with you. But this Nuggets team is smart. This Nuggets team is able to adjust. They've been doing it all season long. And this Nuggets team has playoff experience. And playoff experience helps you most as the series goes on. Also, let's not act like the Nuggets are down 0-2 right now. The series is tied, baby. So in my opinion, when we take it back to Denver, it's a clean slate. Clean slate. It's the same as when we were 0-0. We're 1-1 right now. It's anybody's series. And I do think there's a little bit more of an advantage that you give to the team who's got nothing to lose and everything to gain. The pressure's not on Denver. Everybody's doubting Denver, and they got absolutely humiliated tonight. They will figure it out. They will button up. They will address the situation at hand, which is WTF was that. They will handle it. They will. And I got to tell you right now, every single one of you, just forget about it. Forget about the refs. Don't even let yourself go there. When my mom texts me throughout the game and says, "What is the officiating like?" She texted me that tonight because she couldn't fully watch the game. She was watching off and on. And she's like, how is the whistle? And I'm like, there's a couple calls that have been missed. But you know what? The bigger problem here is that the Nuggets aren't making a single shot and their defense is atrocious. That's what I'm focused on. That's what the Nuggets will be focused on, right? They will. They're going to button it up. They're going to tidy things up. They are going to figure it out. They are too smart of a basketball team. When you've got Nikola Jokic on your side, listen, don't count out Denver. The second you guys started to count out Denver in game 1, you got embarrassed. Don't do it in this series. Until you have a reason to, don't do it. This series is tied. This series is tied. Okay? I think a lot of us knew that this game was over early. Because we know this team. We know Denver. I love Denver. But I can see the moment they go from we want this to we don't really care how it ends. right? The only person that to me was consistently playing like there was a chance was Russ. But Russ is playing back where it all started. He's still in the process of proving to haters that he's still got it. And boy, does he. I mean, listen, that Russ video of mine continues to age well. Continues to age well. There's so much of the Denver Nuggets that we can't control, right? We can't control the fact that Michael Porter Jr. is injured, but you can control how much you play him. And I think we got to start limiting those minutes ASAP. Like I said, when the injury becomes a liability, you got to pull the plug. You must. You must. In just a bit, you guys, we're going to have some David Adelman clips of him talking about this one. Goodness, you really hope that he's already cooking up a game plan, and I would imagine he is. He knows that there's a lot that needs to change before game 3. They know that. The beautiful thing about it is this. I think we've seen OKC's best already in this series. Is that fair to say? I think so. I think we've seen OKC's best. So the Nuggets know what they have in front of them. If OKC plays their best basketball for the rest of the series, the Nuggets have seen it. They felt it. They now can adjust properly to take that down. OKC has not seen Denver's best basketball yet. That right there is where the Nuggets need to buckle up, give themselves a little bit of a hype talk and remind themselves who the F they are, and then say, they haven't seen our best yet. They haven't seen us at our best in this post-Malone era. They haven't. Nope. We've seen OKC's best. So now the Nuggets know if they play their best, that's what you can anticipate. How down are we? 1 to 10 tonight, Olivia. Shit hurts. I think I'm like a 7. I'm a 7. I'm obviously bummed by this, of course. It's a big bummer. But I'm still pretty optimistic, actually. I actually think I feel better going into game 3 than I did going into game 2, believe it or not. I am more confident in this Nuggets team following an absolute ass whooping than I am following their close win in game 1. Not kidding. I really am. We've got around 2 minutes from David Adelman that we're going to listen to right stinking now. He's talking about the fact that they got punked. What does he mean by that? I have no idea. But let's hear it from David Adelman himself, his thoughts after this absolute domination by OKC. Let's check it out.
It's one game. It counts as one. There's a chance to respond. I assume the thinking is similar.
Yeah, but we got punked, and we didn't play well enough, and they came out with the right intensity, and we didn't. I thought we let some open shots early in the game affect us how we played defensively. And, this is a team that does that. I mean, there's a reason why they have historic plus-minus numbers throughout this season is they put people away. So you got to have a much better start than that. We can't come out like that kind of mentality. I'm not sitting here tonight talking about the 1-1 thing. Not tonight. We're not going to flush that. We've got to be better. We know that. That being said, it's nice to know that you got a win underneath your belt, but that's not what this is right now in the present. So we'll react the right way, like we did, in Game 3 in LA. Bring a different intensity, look at what they did differently, react accordingly, and I would expect a much better effort from our guys on Friday night in Denver.
What was the most concerning part about the way you lost?
Physicality. Bottom line, I thought they towed the line. I thought the game was reffed very physical. I thought we joined the party late. When you join the party late, the refs look at you as reactionary. The whistle doesn't go your way. So you can't be reactionary in these playoff games. You have to do it from the tip, from the start. We know that. I could tell in that room. The eyes looking back at me know that. That's the reality of what just happened. So we'll go back. Obviously, it's a really tough series and a really good team, but I'll say it again, like you can't get punked the first 6 minutes. They set the tone. You can't get down this building. I believe it was 34-14. That's going to lead to some bad things. So going home, knowing that we can be much better is a positive. But tonight, we should not flush that. We should be thinking about that we got to get a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. As fans, let's hold on to the fact that the series is tied because I think that keeps us sane, right? But for these players, he's absolutely right. Don't get comfortable in the fact that the series is tied. And that's exactly why I say what I said. I think this loss is going to be more motivating and will get better out of Denver in game 3 than a loss that would have been close. If this loss would have been close, I don't know if I think they would have maybe gotten a little complacent. Like, hey, look what we did in game 1. We kept it close in game 2. Ooh, we're going back home. We're good. But to get embarrassed like that, now the Nuggets have to look in the mirror and say, what's got to change? Because that was brutal. That was brutal. It was embarrassing. It was humiliating. You seem upset. No shit, Sherlock. I mean, did we watch the same basketball game? What's going on? Why your skin looks spray tan? Oh my God. If you're going to insult me, please learn basic grammar. So help me God. My mom's a kindergarten teacher. I can send you her email. She can give you a literacy tutoring session, for God's sake. Why your skin looks spray tan? My dad is black. Moving on. Glad we cleared that air. Cool. Lord have mercy. No, it's because it's funny. It's funny that I seem upset. I'm glad you're having fun. I'm having fun too. See, I can tell you just joined this show, one, because it's your first comment, and people like you that just like to be trolls would have commented the second they got in here. So I know you just joined. Yeah, that was super shitty basketball for sure, but I'm actually feeling relatively optimistic going into game 3. Everyone that's been here since the beginning of the show got to hear that. Thanks for joining, though. So really quick, because I'm just feeling like choosing violence really quick here. This user finds my Twitter account after every Nuggets loss. Every single one. Hashtag get well soon. But you know what's really funny? During the regular season and even last week, it was hashtag get well soon. And it was also hashtag Lake Show. Do you want to know which hashtag was missing tonight, though? I bet you got it. Yep. I got a hashtag get well soon, but for whatever reason, the hashtag Lake Show did not make the troll tweet. I wonder why. Right. The Lakers are on vacation. So your team's done. Not sure why you're putting in your 2 cents about mine. Worry about the problems in your own home. You feel me? Crazy how you missed the Lake Show hashtag tonight. I noticed that. You better believe I did. And don't let me start screenshotting all the time. My God, Lord have mercy. Don't let me start screenshotting all the times you've done hashtag get well soon. And the one time tonight you don't have hashtag Lake Show is because you know you can't. They're not playing anymore. Funny. Love it. Be warned, trolls. I'm on a roll. I don't care. I don't care. Please. I've got some guy in here that doesn't know how to freaking have proper grammar and is trying to insult me saying I have a spray tan. Nope, just a black dad. Moving on. I mean, what's next? What do you guys need? I'm new to the show. I love the coverage. Thank you so much, David. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We do have a lot of fun around here. I do flame the trolls from time to time, but really I am a nice person. I promise. In real life, I'm a pretty nice person. I just love to give trolls a hard time because I don't know why people have enough free time to just be like annoying. It's just strange to me. So I have to just check them and make sure they stay humble. But David, welcome to the show. I believe we have got another little clip here from Adelman. We're going to get more of his thoughts. And then I believe after that, we're going to be hearing from Michael Porter Jr. I think we all want to hear from Michael Porter Jr. Again, we know he's injured. It's hard because you feel like you're walking on broken glass. You don't want to talk about him because you don't want to be disrespectful because we know he's in pain. But If it's a liability, it's a problem. Let's hear from Adelman. We've got about 2.5 minutes of Adelman. We'll reconvene, and then hopefully we'll hear from MPJ shortly after. Here is Coach Adelman once again.
Turn the page.
Yeah, and I think that the guys have always responded well to it. But just because you responded well before doesn't mean you're going to. So our whole focus as a group has to be about Game 3, yes, but what are you learning from Game 2? And as a team and at each individual in that room, taking a look at yourself and saying, what can I do better? Me looking at the tape, seeing what they did differently, and reacting the right way for our guys to get them more organized against things that we saw tonight.
You've praised the toughness of Michael Porter Jr. a number of times in a physical series. Where is his fitness right now, and is that affecting him?
It is. And, it's funny. You can tell when he shoots it, he's having a hard time with a full release at the top of his shot. It's almost like it's stopping at 90%, 85%. And the other thing with Mike, and he's giving great effort, the two-handed rebound against this team is so important. You can't go up with one. And tonight, I mean, when I say punked, I'm talking in a basketball term. 24 fast break points, 20 second chance points. They dominated the paint, and part of that is the rebounding. And it is a team effort thing. It's not just about blocking out. It's about meeting the ball at the highest point, and he is affected that way. But again, I think it was really good. And I know I'm not trying to throw a positive out there, to see the ball go in for him in the second half. That's kind of why I left him out there. I want to see if he could find a rhythm. He had a couple shots rim out. But that's such an important thing for us if they're going to double and triple and shrink the floor and all those things. Michael has to eat on that weak side. So if he can see the ball going, that's really going to help us.
David, you guys survived the turnovers in Game 1, 21 more tonight. Was there a common thread in terms of lacking ball security in terms of what they were able to do defensively? Yeah, I mean, they got into us, and, we brought up the screening earlier. We have to screen better. Also, I thought there was multiple times where a ball was on the ground, and there's a 50-50 chance to go get it after they had a deflection, and they seem to get every single one. And now they're running out the other way. So there's so many fundamental basketball things about that game, being the reason why it got away so quickly. And like I said, not flushing it, but then we will turn the page at some point. And when we do, and we open up that next chapter, we'll say, okay, it is 1-1, and we are playing Friday night. But in the meantime, tonight, take that personally. Everybody with this organization, take that personally, and that'll help you succeed in Game 3. Thank you.
Well, I already mentioned why I think it would be beneficial to start Russ in Game 3, and that's mostly for the sake of the pace and just the effort that he brings on a constant basis. And that's what you're going to get from OKC because they're young and they're healthy. So to me, starting with that with Russ is a very good idea. But if you heard David Adelman say he was giving MPJ some flowers and talking about how his body is not where it's at, but what he said was, in this series, we really need two-handed rebounds. It's hard to go up with one arm. Exactly. That's why I say he's a liability. In my opinion, you probably get more out of Peyton Watson playing for MPJ than you do playing MPJ right now. That's what I mean. It is no hard feelings against MPJ. I understand that he's injured. But my point is you have options outside of him. And I think we've got to let go of the fact that maybe he'll heat up. I think we're past that. I think he's in pain. I don't think his injury is going to disappear by Game 3, 4, 5, 6, potentially 7. Truly. I don't think that's what you're going to get. He's just a shell of himself. Mentally, he's not there. And physically, he is certainly not there. So you have to look at what you've got in front of you and act accordingly. Peyton Watson gives you some defensive upside. We know he's good for some clutch threes here and there. We also know he plays a physical game. He can get those boards that you're referring to. I think you get more out of Peyton Watson right now than you do Michael Porter Jr. Sue me. I think you start with Russ because he keeps that pace high and fast right from the jump, right from the beginning of the game. So I don't know if you necessarily start Peyton Watson, but you utilize him in what would otherwise be Michael Porter Jr. minutes. Honestly, I just think you limit Michael Porter Jr. as much as humanly possible right now. One, because he's not performing well. Let's call it what it is. He's not. But 2, he's also hurt. And I don't think he's getting better anytime soon. I really don't. You've got to find opportunities and ways to rest him. If there's a chance that you do advance past this series, right? And I do think there is a chance, of course. If this Nuggets team gets past this series, at some point, you have to have Michael Porter Jr. We've spent too much time this season with him being such a key part of this offense. Whether he's delivering or not, that's how the offense has been run. You need him. You really, really do. So, I don't know. Peyton Watson should get more minutes. I agree. Yep. I agree. Yeah, our defense is a huge problem. I mean, again, 149 points scored. OKC had the most points in one half in playoff history in this game. One, that's very indicative of their offense and how great it is. But 2, it's very indicative of the Nuggets needing way better defense if they want to advance. Way better defense. Way. Yes, exactly. I talked about this at the top of the show as well, where I said, I understand that he is injured. But even when he's been healthy, he hasn't been for this Nuggets team what he's needed to be for this Nuggets team. Do I think there's been stuff that he's been quietly battling this season? Yes, I'm sure. Whether it be family stuff or personal things. But again, that doesn't change the facts that when you need him, he's not there, right? That doesn't change that aspect because you do need Michael Porter Jr. He's a huge difference maker for this team. When he's on, there's really nobody like Denver. But even when he's healthy, it's tough. I agree with this. This is what I was just saying. I think you give some of Michael Porter Jr.'s some of Michael Porter Jr.'s minutes in Game 3 belong to Peyton Watson at this point. Peyton's healthy. Peyton's got some defensive upside. He's got the hustle. He's long. He's big. He's physical. I think Peyton Watson needs to start getting a little bit more playing time to, one, try to preserve MPJ's bodies, and his body, and 2, to give this Denver team something. It's hard because he is injured, but when you're not getting much out of him, it's tough. It's really tough. Whatever happens, this team must be reconstructed. I agree with you. I agree. 100%. We actually do have, I'm sorry guys, you know how I am. If I read my phone, it's like impossible for me to do more than one thing at a time. So we've got Michael Porter Jr., the man himself, the one that we've been spending all this time talking about. We've got about 4 minutes from him in the locker room. So we're going to hear that. Maybe he gives us an update on his body. Maybe he lets us into his brain a little bit, because I do think what is happening here is mental. Let's check it out. Let's see what we get from Michael Porter Jr. About 4 minutes of this, and then we'll reconvene. Here is MPJ.
I think it would heal, when you have a sprain like this, immobilizing the joint is the fastest way to heal it, and obviously I haven't been able to do that with the games. I've chose to play, but that's not an excuse. Like, if I'm gonna go out there and play, then I gotta, I gotta play well. I'm just so limited out there, so I'm not able to do what I want to do. Offensively, defensively, on the glass, everything's a little hard, but that's not an excuse. I got to play better if I'm going to go out there and play.
Do you still plan on playing moving forward, or would you consider maybe taking a game off to get time to rest it?
I just think that it's like do or die for our team, you know. So I don't feel the pull to really try to rest it, you know. I think, you know, if I'm not able to perform out there, then they put someone else in there that's able to perform better for the team, and that's what we got to do. But I'm definitely go out there and try, you know, because I might be able to make an impact. I might some shots might go down. I just got to be very selective with how I play. I got to really think and be smart out there.
Can it be a question of mind over matter, or is it sometimes it's so physically?
No. I mean, getting out there in the first place, last series, this series is mind over matter, but there's still some physical limitations that when you have that joint out of place, you just don't have the strength and stability to be able to push off the way you really want to. Even on my jumper, it just feels a little clunky right now, a little off with that guide hand. So our whole team got to be better going forward, and I'm gonna do everything I can tomorrow and leading up to the game 3 to get it in as good of a place as I can.
What do you guys have to do in order to run a cleaner offense? Kind of clean up some of the turnovers a little bit.
Yeah, we just got to come out with the right mentality from the jump, own our spots. There was a game like this last series where the Clippers just completely, you know, they just were very physical with us from the jump, and it led to a blowout. And a similar thing happened tonight, and we can't allow that. I mean, there's the playoffs, and you got to take every game and be the enforcer. So we did a bad job of that tonight.
What can you do to help yourselves, make it easier on yourselves to fight through some of that physicality?
Own our spots. From the jump, we got to set the tone with how we're going to play so that the refs know that, and they're going to, you know, they tend to side with the enforcing team. So we got to show that we're physically enforcing ourselves more next game than we are this game. Own our spots, you know, and really just compete.
Mike, what did you make of the way that they came out physically today, especially like Jalen Williams on Yoke and some of the physicality they showed?
Yeah, it was impressive. You know, they came in and played it very well around the game. All their guys played well, made shots. And obviously, you know, they knew the necessity of them winning this game, and they brought it. And this was a win that we needed as well, and we didn't go out there and acted like we wanted it in the same way they did.
DA mentioned that he left you out there after first shot went in, just that it might be good, even though you're having to modify maybe some of your shot. Do you sense that having a couple go through when those first ones, you know, were in and out?
Yeah. I hope it carries over. Some of those shots were in and out. Like I said, my shot feels a little clunky, a little off with that guide hand coming up a little wrong right now with the shoulder. But I got to figure out a way to make some shots and help the team. And
he also said he doesn't want y'all to flush this, but because you guys have had some tough losses in the playoffs this year, last year, is that also the experience you can draw on, just like you're able to draw on experience at the end of game one to pull that out?
Yeah, we're gonna look at the adjustments. We're gonna look at the film, but at the end of the day, we just got to come out next game with a better mentality. And this team, since I've been a part of this team, we've done a great job of responding when something like this happens to us.
Listen, he's absolutely correct. And that's kind of what I said at the beginning of the show. Them getting embarrassed this way, they know how to respond. They know how to make the proper adjustments, and they will do that. I have zero doubts in my mind that they will handle business the way that it needs to be handled ahead of game 3. Couple of things we heard from Michael Porter Jr. there. I have to give credit where it's due in the sense that he is exceptionally aware, right? He knows he is not playing right. And to be honest with you, he even said what I said, which is, yes, he's injured, but if he chooses to play, he knows he has to be better. And that's just it. I am not saying he has to be perfect, because at the end of the day, he is very, very injured. But when you choose to play, the expectation is that you play. And his version of playing right now is just not going to work for Denver against OKC. You need every single guy on this Nuggets team firing off on all cylinders. You have to have that. It's not an option, really. In order to compete with OKC, everyone has to show up. And I think Michael Porter Jr. knows, just like the rest of us know, he hasn't really been showing up in this series, in the playoffs, really altogether. So injured or not, you know, he is very self-aware, and it's very, very clear he just wants to be there for his team. He wants to compete with them. He knows, he said it's do or die. You know, we need everybody. So I'm going to try to play, but if there's someone better suited to play instead of me, then That's what needs to happen. So he's exceptionally self-aware. But I think what is tough is, injured or not, if he suits up, the expectation is that he's playing. If he didn't suit up, somebody else would be playing for him that could be giving more. So when you choose to play, there's just an expectation that you're going to deliver. Every Nuggets member has to deliver in order for them to win in this series. It's that simple. You've got to have it 1,000% from everybody. That's what you need in this series in order to stay alive and advance. Splitting on the road is never a bad thing. I think a lot of road teams, or, the ones that don't have the home court advantage, right, are happy to split on the road. We're happy with that. We're going to take it. But it's really, in my opinion, it's very beneficial that the Nuggets lost in the fashion that they did, because you're going to avoid complacency that way. They will make adjustments. They will figure it out, because they don't ever want this happening again. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. So there's a lot that needs to be adjusted. There's a lot that needs to be fixed. They know that. I know that. We all know that. What is the benefit of this all is that we've seen the best from OKC, in my opinion. We have not yet seen the best from Denver. We know what they're capable of. We know how great they can be and how exceptional they are when they all show up. And we know they can all show up. We just watched it in game 1. So this is just a really great spot to have Denver in. They were competing at a very high level in game 1. They kept that game exceptionally close. They won at the freaking buzzer, pretty much. Not really, but kind of. And then they got humbled in game 2, which is great. We love an underdog. We love a Nuggets team that's underestimated and a little embarrassed and a little humbled. That's a really great place to be. It's crazy. We're going to wrap things up here, you guys. Let me see here. Sorry, I know you guys know sorry, I just kicked my computer too. Liv, your friend Ashley's Knicks are up 2-0. Yes, they are. Are you surprised by this? And are you confident that the Celtics will tie the series 2-2 at the Garden? I don't like what I see from the Celtics right now. Really don't. The Knicks just have that dog in them, and that's just something you can't really explain. You either have it or you don't. You can't really explain it. Sorry, guys. I really, really don't feel good. So I'm very distracted. I have the chills. I have a heater at my legs right now. I'm starting to not feel great at all. So if I'm getting so distracted, that's why. I am going downhill fast. Yeah, no, the Knicks are very surprising for sure. I did not anticipate them winning the way that they did, especially considering both games were trending in favor of the Celtics. And then they, again, just had that dog in them. They found a way. They climbed back into the game, and they were just competitors. They're competing at the highest level right now. And this is what playoff basketball is all about. So you really love to see it. Just like Denver in game 1, exactly. Playoff basketball. That was picture perfect playoff basketball. What we saw tonight was not playoff basketball. It was gross basketball. I think even if you're an OKC fan, that was boring. That was boring. It was dull. It was gross. It was not fun for anybody. Oh, you guys, Lord have mercy. I am praying I am not getting sick. I am getting body aches like crazy. No. Russ should start in the third game. Please, Adelman, make the adjustment. Yeah, there's definitely got to be some sort of adjustment made for sure. I don't know what exactly that looks like in terms of the starting lineup, but I do think limiting MPJ's minutes, I know that for sure needs to be done, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Sorry, guys, I'm reading your comments. I'm trying not to. Just cut out the stream. We understand. Yeah, I'm going to give it like 5 more minutes. I'm trying to try to see if BK can hop on with us. Yes, but I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, I like really started to hit me right before we went live. And I was like, no, I think I'm okay. And it's like getting worse as we sit here. You guys know how that is, though. There's a bunch of bugs going out like all around right now. And I'm knocking on wood. I've been relatively healthy this season, so hoping it stays that way. But you guys know how it is. When you do get sick with a bug, it pretty much hits you all at once. And I'm starting to feel that. But maybe if I catch it soon, if I get some emergency in my system, we'll be okay. Really quickly, though, I cannot forget to give a quick little shout out and a mention, of course, to Trusted American Mortgage. They are wonderful. They save you money. They're salary-based mortgage consultants that help you get a better interest rate, lower your monthly payments. They are literally designed to help you save some money. So make sure you head to trustedamerican.com to see how they can help you save some money. See if you qualify for some of those money-saving things. Life-saving. I mean, saving money does save your life. Let's be real. But Trusted American, shout out to our friends over there, and also shout out to RefiJet. Oh, thank you guys for all the nice comments. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good. It's like all at once, and I feel like I'm not focused on you guys as much as I normally am, so I apologize for that. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Celtics live and die by the 3 tonight. They died. It's true. It's true. Living and dying by the 3 is a great thing until it's not, right? Like it really is. And I know that sounds like so like duh. But it's true. When you live and die by the 3, it's a risky game. And when it works, it really works. But when it doesn't, it really doesn't. And that's what the Nuggets just have to remember. Like, your 3s aren't always going to fall. But what are you doing to combat that? Tonight, we had no answer for anything. You know, we got caught with our pants down. It's the truth. It was not great. Take some Tylenol or Aleve medicine afterwards. Trust me, I will. Yeah, I definitely will need to do that. Plus, some emergency. I'm starting to get that. Guys, I'll take you. Everything was good. I got a little chilled. So I turned on this heater. Now it's the body aches, my lower back, my hips. And I got one of those headaches where it's like when you move your eyeballs, it hurts. Oh boy, doesn't sound good, does it? Lord have mercy. I just need to be better by game 3. That's all I care about. If I get sick tonight, by Friday, my body better figure it out. Tatum only scored 13 points for them. Not good. Listen, every GOAT for any team, but every superstar has a bad night, right? This was not a great night for Nikola Jokic. It just wasn't. It was not a great night for really any of the Denver Nuggets. So you just, again, they take it on the chin, they get embarrassed, and we go from there. Okay, BK is ready for us. We're going to keep this short. I'm telling him that because I don't feel good. So let's bring in my friend, Brandon Cristal. BK, how are you?
Well, I guess I'm doing better than the Nuggets.
I would really hope you're doing better than the Nuggets, BK. That was pretty tough, but I was talking with everybody on the show, and I said that I feel like if they were going to lose game 2, it's almost better for this Nuggets team to get embarrassed. I heard one of your questions to Michael Porter Jr., and he kind of alluded to the fact that, like, since I've been on this team, we respond well. They got humiliated tonight, and I think that they are in a better position to make those adjustments and respond well in game 3. How do you feel after hearing from some of the guys and just being there and watching it unfold?
Yeah, it didn't feel the same way as that game 6 loss in Minneapolis a year ago, because that was kind of almost comical. And they had just played 2 really good games, 3 good games, I guess, where they had, after losing those first 2 at home, they go into Minnesota, win game 3, win game 4, come back home, win game 5. And so you're like, okay, they figured out how to beat Minnesota. And look, let's be honest, they were up 20 in game 7. They ran out of steam, but obviously they figured that out. Now, they can draw on the experience. I think they can. And so I kind of asked everybody about that. But at the same time, this is a different animal. This Oklahoma City team is just built different than the Minnesota Timberwolves, and could be the Western Conference Finals, could be those 2 teams. Obviously, with Steph out there in that other series. And, it'd be fun to see what Ant does against these guys and all that. But look, we're focused on this series right now, and hopefully the Nuggets getting back in it.
Yeah.
But they did, as David Adelman said, got punked. MPJ said, that they got punked. I think Christian Brown might have said it as well. And so it's one of those things where no one likes that feeling. And so can you keep that bad taste in your mouth? That's maybe one of the good things, other than the fatigue factor, about playing every other day, with the exception of if they get to game 7. I believe that's the first time there'll be a 2-day break from Thursday to Sunday. It goes from game 6 in Denver to game 7 back here. So I think that when Adelman said that early on, it got away from them, and then when it's 34-14, you really can't even catch your breath at that point. They didn't ever come up for air. I did think it was interesting that he kept those guys in. He said they wanted to play. At least I understood why he kept Michael Porter in, because MPJ needed to see some shots go down. That part makes sense.
Build up some confidence there,
But with Joker especially, I get wanting to come out in the second half. I don't think you shut him down at halftime, but I would have shut him down around the 6-minute mark, where it goes from being 26 to all of a sudden it's closer to 40. And this is going in the wrong direction, and you're not making any kind of dent. If they would have come out and cut it to 20 to start the third and had a couple threes, get a couple stops, then it makes more sense, and OKC starts to get nervous. But he wanted to play those guys, and thankfully nobody did get hurt, best we can tell. You just saw Joker get beat up a little more and talk to the refs, as he just told us, and we'll put up his post game here shortly on all of our social channels. But he said he was just talking to the ref, just asking Scott a question, to Scott Foster, who clearly made his return to the court after 7 weeks off felt. So I think it's one where they don't want to flush it, but I think fans kind of need to flush it, because you need to remember that, and this is where AG ended when I kind of asked him about bouncing back and coming home, is like, hey, we did do our job. It is 1-1. We've taken home court back. So rely on that and come out in game 3, knock down your shots in your building, and play better defense, and don't let it get away from you.
Absolutely. BK, what are your thoughts on this comment here from Alex Smith saying, did the full court press affect the outcome of this game or no?
Well, I think it certainly can. And when you can throw that many bodies, it's just going to either speed you up, slow you down, make it harder for you to get into your offense. But that's not the reason they lost, because the turnovers didn't necessarily come in that as much as they came where, it's a pass inside to Joker and it gets poked away by Wallace, and he's running the other way, or Wiggins. I don't know, I get all these guys confused. I think it was Wallace. But it was sloppy passes. It was just lack of ball security. So I think that a full court press can affect you. But this is the NBA, where full court presses really shouldn't affect NBA point guards and NBA bigs that handle the ball as much as the Nuggets 2 bigs do. So was that a factor? Sure, but that's not why they got all those open shots that they got to fall. What I think we also felt, though, because Adelman did talk about the 50-50 balls, didn't feel as dramatic as it did in game 6 with the Clippers.
Right.
But it did feel like every time the Nuggets would get a stop, they'd come down, miss a 3, and OKC would make a 3 on the other end. So it's like you're feeling good, you finally get the stop, but instead of even getting any kind of bucket, you get a corner 3 miss from Russ, or a missed 3 from CB, and they would knock down a 3 on the other end. And so I think that could be deflating, and I think it was.
Absolutely. I want to ask your thoughts really quick, BK, before we let you get out of here. What are your thoughts on Russell Westbrook starting in game 3? He does seem to be one of the few that has continued energy. He's still bringing that effort, and he's playing very well. Would you consider, if you're David Adelman, would you consider starting Russ at all in this series?
Not yet. Only because Michael Porter Jr. is clearly battling through some stuff. And I asked Joker about that. And he said, you appreciate his effort, but his injury can't be an excuse. We know he shoots better at home. He always has. And maybe just being back at home will just be more comfortable. So I wouldn't force the issue because Russ is going to finish almost guaranteed. And if he's not, it means that Michael Porter Jr. is playing really well. If you've got your starters and Russ isn't out there. But you talk about that energy and how about this stat in the playoffs, at least before tonight, coming into tonight, the Nuggets have taken 75 more free throws than their opponent. So that's 7 games, 6 against the Clippers because he missed 1 game. And then game 1 here, then when Russ is out there with the starters in place of MPJ. So they're forcing the action to the rim. And it starts with Russ, but that's kind of everyone. Because I asked Mark Dagno about that pregame, and he said that they'll all attack you. It's not just Russ, but Russ is clearly spearheading that. So I think you keep that part of the rotation the same for now. I don't think starting Russ is going to change what happens early in the game that dramatically because everyone plays hard at the start, if that makes sense. They're not coming out. They were coming out slow. We've talked about this all year, kind of. It was just a couple shots didn't go in and started to get away from them. And, then they couldn't come up for air.
Absolutely. Okay, BK, before I let you go, by the way, when are you flying back in the morning?
Oh, I've got a flight in 5 hours and 40 minutes.
Wow. What a trooper
6 a.m.
you are.
6 a.m. Jet and I on a 6 a.m. We were maybe going to be on that 11, but I wanted to make sure I could get back to talk some football with Nate, talk some hoops with you.
Yeah.
No. I've been in Oklahoma long enough. I'm fine.
Yeah, right. You've made your mark there. No, really quick. Do you predict a bounce back, BK, for game 3?
It's hard to just say, yeah, they're definitely going to bounce back and win this game, but I do think you'll get a better performance. It was interesting when I saw your tweet about Scott Foster and you said you're going to bet the house on OKC. 11 felt like a lot, but clearly it wasn't enough. You could have bet 40 or whatever and still covered or whatever the final was. I didn't even spend much time with the final box score, but I do think you'll just get a better effort. You're going to be at home. The fans are going to be there to support you. This is why playing a mile above sea level should be an advantage and has been for them for so long. And so look, is OKC capable of coming in and doing something kind of similar to what we saw tonight or what we saw in the opener where they can blitz you and it's relentless? Absolutely. But I do think you'll get a better effort from the Nuggets in game 3, and then hopefully that will carry over to game 4. And this will be a long series, a 6 or 7 game series like we expect, because I think that will favor the Nuggets, assuming they can stay as healthy as they are now. You can't really get much healthier. I don't think MPJ's shoulder is going to feel that much better.
Right.
So yeah, I like their chances to bounce back, but I'm not going to bet the house and say, yeah, let me go bet the money line. Or I haven't even seen, have we seen an early line to see if they're probably underdogs? You can't lose by 45 and then, or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet, but I would guess that the Nuggets will be underdogs again. So hopefully back at home, they're protecting home court, which is something that in the past, not last year, but they have in the past been very good at that. So hopefully we see that in game 3. But BK, you have safe travels getting back home. I'm going to be keeping my fingers and toes crossed because I feel like I'm getting really sick right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to go take some emergency and
some emergency, some Theraflu, get a good night's sleep.
Exactly.
And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. I guess if not, I'll figure out how to talk some hoops, even if
there you go.
If you're under the
Either
weather.
way, hoops will be talked about. But if I'm praying that you see me tomorrow because that means that my immune system did its job. So
yeah, awesome.
Safe travels, BK. Thank you for hopping on, and thank you for this road trip and getting all this outstanding coverage and footage for us. We really appreciate you. So safe travels back.
Of course. All right. Thanks, Liv. Feel better.
All right. Thank you. Okay, you guys, BK is the best. He's been out there for a few days getting us everything we need. And just like BK coming back home, so are the Denver Nuggets. So this is what we hope for. We hope that this game was embarrassing enough. And I use the word embarrassing because I think they probably feel that way as well. I hope this game is embarrassing enough that the Nuggets make the adjustments that we know they're capable of making. And they come home and they defend home court and they get a win in game 3. I do think game 3 feels a little bit like do or die for Denver, truly. To lose the way that they did in game 2, if they lose again in game 3, you're not feeling super, super great about that. So thank you guys so much for all the well wishes. I appreciate you. Thank you guys. I am going to go take some like Tylenol. I don't know, like one of those, and we have emergency and like liquid IV and stuff. My fiance got influenza A not too long ago, and I bought him these like Pedialyte popsicles, and now we just keep them in our freezer. So maybe I'll go have a Pedialyte popsicle so I can stay hydrated and try to kick this before it takes over, because we don't have time to be sick. It's the freaking playoffs. Okay. Appreciate you guys so much for being on here. I told myself I didn't know how long I was going to make it on this show because I wasn't feeling good, but it's been over an hour. We've been hanging out. There was a lot to talk about, a lot of good stuff to talk about. And again, we will, of course, keep you posted for another post-game live show following Game 3. Hopefully, we've got a smile on our face and the Nuggets made the proper adjustments and they get a win at home. But even if they don't win at home, we will still have a post-game live show for you. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the Gorilla Sports YouTube and following Gorilla Sports on all things socials to check out all the other post-game presser footage. We've got CB, we've got AG. There's a bunch of players. Jokic, you're going to be able to catch that all on our YouTube. So hit subscribe there and then also follow us on all things socials. I'm Liv Moods signing off for the night. Go Nuggets no matter what. And we will catch you. Hopefully, I will be in full health, and we'll catch you tomorrow for an off-court episode at 12:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And then, of course, Friday after Game 3, a post-game live reaction show. We'll see you soon. Love you long time. Go Nuggets, and have a wonderful evening. Bye.